Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to Two Dicks and a Mic, the podcast where you get to enjoy our news commentary while we all watch the world burn. Three brothers who share no DNA talk about news and politics. Tonight on the show, dreamers threaten to leave, and DACA schools us on net neutrality. Let's get going, fellas. DACA, Mike, how's it going?
I'm living a dream.
I'm living a dream too.
I said I'm living the dream.
Oh, like a dreamer. I get it.
Yeah.
Because Americans are dreamers too. Isn't that what was in the State of the Union?
I don't.
Did you watch the State of the Union?
I did not.
You didn't?
My son did. I did not.
I watched it.
I don't have enough time in the day for that crap.
I tell you what, it was a fairly good speech, interrupted by about 40,000 applause breaks.
I heard it was actually pretty good.
Yeah. Like I said, it was a pretty good speech. It was well written by whomever wrote it.
Like complete sentences?
Oh yeah, complete sentences.
Wow.
Real words that people understand. Anyway, so we're talking about dreamers, and one of the things that it's a recent news article that kind of caught my attention. There's a lot of stuff that we can hit. You know, we can talk about Pelosi spending 8 hours on the floor defending dreamers. We can talk about the government shutdown on behalf of the dreamers. We can talk about Trump's plan that includes not just the 800,000 dreamers, but another 1 million people who are associated or whatever that he's offering a path to citizenship to over the next 10 to 12 years. But the Democrats don't want that. But let's start with these dreamers who are threatening to leave the United States if the Republicans and Democrats can't reach a deal. Have you guys heard about this?
Yes.
They're threatening to leave?
Yeah, they're threatening to do exactly what people want them to do.
Right, that sounds a little anti-dramatic there.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a very small percentage of them, from what I've read. And it's the ones, the thing is, it's the ones that we would want to keep here anyway. Because these are the people who are educated enough to say, you know what, if you're going to kick us out, then I'm going to do it on my own fucking terms, and I'm going to leave before you kick me out. Which is precisely the kind of dreamer, DACA person that we would want to keep here. But they are the ones who are threatening to leave of their own volition.
I think that's stupid. I mean, the argument, not the fact that you're doing that, but the argument that, you know, you're going to kick me out anyway. It's like, you can't fire me. I quit.
Yeah.
That's exactly the argument. Yeah. But it's quitting on principle, as opposed to getting out before you get caught, I think is the difference.
I mean, either way, you're gone, they win.
All right. So
they win, we win, who wins?
Somebody wins.
You die, she dies, everybody dies. Sorry, that was a little bit of heavy metal.
Heavy metal?
Yeah, the old cartoon. Remember that movie?
No. Okay, so DACA refers to Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals.
Yes.
So this entire issue centers around children of people who have come to this country illegally.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, the legislation itself, I do not have an opposition to. I mean, what are you going to do? It's a kid. Your mom and dad say, come on, we got to go across the border here, and you're coming with us. I don't think that there's anything that really a kid can do.
But now, isn't this legislation that makes provisions for you up to 31 years old?
Real quick, though, it's not technically legislation, is it? It's an executive order. Is that still legislation? I don't know.
No, DACA is actual legislation.
No.
DACA is an executive order.
Yeah, the DREAM Act.
DACA is an executive order.
The DREAM
Act is legislation.
Yeah. The DREAM Act didn't pass, so DACA was written in by executive order.
Correct. So now Trump comes in after Obama passes this. I think it was June of 2012. And Trump comes in, President Trump comes in and ends up rescinding it. which is fine. That's his prerogative.
Yeah, it's
My
it's a
concern
slow
is-
rescind too. It's over the next 10 years or something.
Right. And that's fine. My issue is, and always has been, that if we are a nation of laws, then you cannot be in this country illegally. And here's the big thing, and get legal services. If
Yeah.
you're here in the country illegally, there's red tape, whatever. Fine. If you're here legally and you're getting services, hey, welcome to America, congratulations, whatever. But you cannot, my big problem is you can't be in the country illegally and get full citizenship services.
Well, I don't believe they have full citizenship type services, but they can. I think where the line is drawn is they can't vote. They get most everything else.
There was a case. I'm going to screw this up.
Please do.
Pyler, Pyler versus Doe was a Supreme Court case.
Yeah.
Pyler versus Doe, Supreme Court case, I believe out of Texas, where there were some public schools, K through 12, that were charging illegal immigrants $1,000, basically tuition, because in terms of education, they would get state funding based on their enrollment.
Right.
But the state was not going to credit them because they're illegal immigrants. So what the school district decided to do was they come in, okay, you're not getting these services, you're illegal immigrants. We're going to charge you $1,000 to fill the gap to be able to utilize our services. And the Supreme Court ruled that you can't do that. So this is 1982. So the Supreme Court ruled that you cannot charge somebody in this country illegally using our services basically for free. You can't charge them.
Yeah, well, people who are legitimately on the DACA program, you have to pay. I forget the amount, and I don't want to butcher it, but it's somewhere in the $500 range to enroll in the DACA program. And those kids can attend public schools. They can file for. They can do the FAFSA and get college student loans and everything, just like everybody else. They can go to college. They can use the medical system. They can get pretty well everything apart from vote. Now, I don't know, and this is one of those big points of contention sort of thing. Well, they're eating up the welfare and blah, 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 blah. I don't know that they can legally get welfare type programs. Now, if mom or dad is using a stolen Social Security number, then there's not any real way to track that.
There are several states, including New York, that grant almost full citizenship services to illegal immigrants. For example, hospitals, and you can lump this into the Hippocratic Oath, whatever. Several hospitals across the nation will allow for the treatment of illegal immigrants, which then will get written off by the hospital or will be credited or subsidized by the state, local, or federal government, which, by the way, subsidized means that legal people have to pay taxes for it. Your child can go to your legal child if you are illegal. Your child is illegal, meaning they weren't born here in the United States. If they're born here in the United States, I say that they're a citizen and they should have the full rights of citizens. But
just for being born here, correct?
Just for being born here.
Yeah.
And
that was the
definition of a
standard.
citizen.
Yeah, that was a universal standard. So if you are an illegal child here, then you're afforded. You could go to school for free. Public schools must take you. So you have, say, for example, pardon me, in Michigan, you have school of choice. You have an illegal immigrant child in a Michigan school district, doesn't matter which one, and you have another child that's trying to transfer out of one district into another, but they are filled. That child, who is a legal citizen in the United States, can't get into that district because they're filled because you have at least one illegal immigrant. I got a problem with that. Now, here's my other problem. Okay, so everybody says, all right, so they're legal immigrants. They broke the law. They've already been here, blah, blah, blah. They should be granted either citizenship or we should do something to allow them. Restitution's not the word, but I guess forgiveness. Amnesty, I guess, is the word. All right, fine. Then I want to let out all of the drug offenders in every prison in the United States. I want to grant them amnesty. People will light their damn hair on fire saying you can't let out these drug dealers, and well, why not?
You should give them a car while you're at it.
Shouldn't they be allowed to be released from prison? I know they broke the law. However, they've been there 20, 25 years. Wouldn't it be just and fair for them to be released from prison on some sort of drug amnesty program?
So you're comparing drug dealers to illegal immigrants because breaking the law is breaking the law, basically.
Breaking the law is breaking the law.
Okay. Now, what about looking at the fiscal cost of unlawful immigrants and amnesty to the U.S. from the Heritage Foundation? It says there are approximately 3.7 unlawful immigrant households in the U.S. These households impose a net fiscal burden of around $54.5 billion per year. DACA families, though, supposedly are a net positive to the economy. What are your thoughts on that?
How are they net?
I was going to ask you how could it be possible that they're a net positive?
Correct. How are they a net positive?
Oh goodness! Now I got to find the numbers. All right, well, let's just cut that and move on.
All right. Hey, Mike, the other Mike,
Yeah.
I'd sent you a series of videos. Did you have a chance to check those out? These topics.
Oh yeah. I was supposed to be doing something else.
Yes, I was hoping that you'd take a look at those in order to prep you for the conversation that we're having.
The post show.
Yes.
Oh, that's wrong.
Oh, here we go. This was from CNBC. That's what I was talking about. Deportations could cost. DACA deportations could cost the U.S. economy more than $400 billion.
Which is great because Democrats say, hey, you know how you're talking about saving money. You know how expensive it is to deport these people? They shouldn't be here in the first place.
Correct.
Well, I'm scrolling down trying to find where they made their argument. A study earlier this year by the Center for American Progress, well, there you go. That's where you went wrong. Estimated that the loss of all DACA workers would reduce U.S. gross domestic product by $433 billion over the next 10 years.
No, it wouldn't.
Well, even
those damn jobs would be filled by high school kids and women and men without high school diplomas. Don't give me that shit.
Well, the thing is, when you're talking about gross numbers, gross and net are so far apart. You can't say anything about a gross number because all the costs and everything still have to come out of the gross number.
I think that's crap. They talk about the economic impact. Wait a minute. What about? I want somebody to find me some hard numbers, and they don't have to be precise, but they have to be close. On how much does it cost to, number one, how much if these illegal immigrants, because many of them don't pay taxes, right? Many of them don't pay taxes.
Yeah, well, I think we might be straying away from the DACA people, though.
No. I'm right on the DACA people. If you are here, well, if your parents are here illegally,
okay,
you should not benefit from them being here illegally. That is the equivalent of your mom and dad sold drugs, owned a meth house, made $150 million. They went to jail. You should get that money. No.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people, or not heard, but I've seen on Twitter people making the same kind of equivalency to Bernie Madoff's kids. Because he had the big Ponzi scheme 10, 15 years
Right.
ago.
Right.
And if they were to be able to keep all the money that he got off of his Ponzi scheme.
I mean, that's exactly what's going on with.
It is a similar situation.
So why is it just for them? Yeah. Just because you're the child of a criminal, you should get some sort of benefit? How does that make any sense to anybody?
Well, I think one of the things though is that we're talking about, and I guess I'm kind of playing devil's advocate here, just to get the point across though. We're talking about people's lives as opposed to money, right? So we're talking about these people who came here as children who don't have any ties to the country from which they came.
But they've had a lifetime to become citizens.
Right. There are pathways to being here legally outside of the DACA program. And from within the DACA program, there are things that you can do to because even though you're a DACA, a deferred action for childhood arrival person, you're still technically here illegally. You're just part of a legal program that defers your punishment, basically. And so it defers the punishment.
It's only being deferred.
Yeah. So it defers it for 2 years, at which point you can reapply. You can't be a felon. You can't have a lot of misdemeanors on your record. You have to be a net positive in some way. Like you have to go to school, drain our school systems. You have to finish high school or get a GED. I mean, there's a number of things that they have to do. The DACA recipient people have to actually be pretty good citizens. But
so if you're such a good citizen that you can qualify for DACA, why can't you qualify for citizenship? Why wouldn't you chase citizenship instead of deferment?
Well, that's kind of a strange technicality there, because if you are here illegally, you can't, while you're illegally here, apply for citizenship. You have to apply for citizenship while you're in your home country. But you can apply for. Let me find the exact name of it while I'm talking about it. You can go back to you can apply for this program, which will allow you to go back to your Dreamer's Green Card or permanent residence through employment with life action. Oh wait, that's not the right one.
Are you talking about the Dreamer Act?
No. This was a program whereby
or the Dream Act. I'm sorry.
People could apply for this program while they're dreamers, while they're DACA recipients. I mean, not dreamers. And that's the thing. People conflate dreamer and DACA recipient, and they're completely different. And they say, well, you're a dreamer, you're a DACA recipient, you're the same person, but it's not. The DREAM Act never went through. They're calling all these DACA people dreamers when there never was a freaking DREAM Act. Okay, but the DACA recipients can apply for this program whereby they're able to go back to their home country and then come back into the United States legally and have a green card and be here legally. And any one of these people could have done this at any point. Anyone who is here illegally can apply for this program and go back to their home country and then come back in. Like there's this fella just in the news this last week. His kid is having cancer treatment. He's a real young guy too, the dad. He's got like 6 kids. That's another thing. This might sound racist, but it's just factual. The Hispanic families reproduce like Catholics, and I guess most of them are Catholics. But I mean they've all got like 6, 7 kids. So you come here illegally, and your wife is illegal, but then you have 7 children who are citizens because you have all of them while you're here. That's not the point, though. So this guy, he's got 1 kid with cancer, and he's getting deported because he's here illegally. He's been here forever illegally, and he never took the time to go through any of these processes to be here legally.
And whose fucking fault is that?
I know it blows my mind that people. But what about the children? I mean, that's the cry,
The children stay. They were born here. They're citizens.
Yeah, but they're
He's
children.
Had a lifetime to chase citizenship and hasn't.
Right.
Bye-bye.
That's the point. That's the point, though. The children are citizens. They were born here. They're citizens. That's just how it works. If I go to some other country and I'm born in that other country, as long as their laws are similar to ours, then I have dual citizenship because my parents are American and I was born on some other country's soil. And it's the same thing. Like if you're Canadian and your mom and dad are Canadian and they're visiting, they're here at Mount Rushmore or whatever, and you happen to pop out early, then you can get dual citizenship. But it's an ode to humanity type of argument because we're talking about separating families, and that's the thing with the chain migration. That's a big hot button issue too. Are you guys familiar with chain migration?
No. Not entirely.
Okay, so let's say
I didn't know that chains could migrate. I thought they just kind of laid there.
Well, it's
where they were.
It's kind of like you throw a link of a chain over an edge, and then all the rest of the links of the chain follow that link, right?
Is this families?
Yeah, exactly. So say I come to the United States and then I become a citizen. Well, since I'm a citizen, this chain migration allows my immediate family to immigrate as well. But that wouldn't be all that big a deal, but then that allows my immediate family to immigrate. So, like, if it lets my dad and mom immigrate, then it also lets my dad and mom's brothers and sisters immigrate. See how that just snowballs into this huge clusterfuck of people?
7 degrees of Kevin Bacon, then doesn't everybody qualify?
Right, exactly. and that's why.
And if everybody's a citizen, nobody is.
And that's
right.
That's why people want to, or that's why some people want to limit the chain migration to just the initial person's immediate family and not the immediate family of the rest of the people who come.
So if somebody earns citizenship, by default, their family qualifies without having to do anything?
Well, their family is able to come over with a lot less restrictions as opposed to someone who is just starting out.
All I know is there's a lot of shithole countries out there.
There are, and there's a lot of. Oh Jesus, we could have a whole show about immigration, couldn't we?
How long have we been on DACA?
We've been on DACA for about 25 minutes.
Well, there goes that 30-minute show.
Right? Yeah, we were shooting for a 30-minute show, y'all. Sorry about that. We should just have another show regarding immigration and just. So as far as DACA, let's narrow it back in. Mike, let's get your thoughts on it.
My generalized thought is that if you want to be a citizen of the United States, that's great. Come here, get a job, learn the languages, learn the laws, obey the laws, pay your fucking taxes, and be an asset to our society. That's all I care about.
Okay.
I don't give a shit where you were born, where you came from, what religion you are. I don't give 2 shits. Be a positive to our society. That's all I want.
All right, so we've got from Mike that he is, if you are a DACA person and you are here and you're following the laws and you're a net positive to the culture, then
I'm glad to have you.
There should be a pathway to citizenship.
Correct.
I feel exactly the same. I don't agree with families bringing their children over illegally. I don't agree with anyone coming over illegally. And there's a lot of people who came here illegally one time, got busted, got deported, and came back. And then they come back again and again when they get deported and deported. And it's not... What's that?
White people.
But it's not. But okay, you say white people, but it's not. It's not.
Ask the Native Americans what their immigration was.
The Native Americans didn't.
The Native Americans were not.
The issue.
The Native Americans not stringent enough.
If the Native Americans
their
were
immigration policy, let all these white people in. They come in and fucked everything up.
If the Native Americans were left to their own ways, we would not have anything resembling the Western culture America that we have right now. We would be.
Wouldn't it be awesome?
We'd be another Saudi Arabia or something.
No. We'd be fine. We'd be praying to a spirit god and looking at hawks and killing bison. It'd be awesome. None of this net neutrality bullshit.
Smoking peyote.
Do you smoke peyote? But
by the way,
okay,
that was a segue to net neutrality.
That was. I heard it.
Do you want to do net neutrality, or we could go? I want to stay on DACA.
Oh, Jesus.
We can stay on DACA long enough for you to give your 2
And by
cents.
the way, Jesus was an illegal immigrant.
All right, yeah, you give your piece. I'm going to make a BWERUN.
Oh, Jesus. Jesus was an illegal immigrant?
A B double
Beer run.
Oh,
I'm just about to finish up whiskey number. You know what? We're doing just fine on time. I'm finishing whiskey number 1. It's time for whiskey number 2. We move on to the second topic.
okay.
Works out perfectly.
I thought this was a 30-minute show.
Well, that's what I said when we did our pre-show chat, but we've clearly blown the fuck out of that one.
Well, we should keep it at 30 minutes. Let's do net neutrality next week.
No, net neutrality is it's not even really all that relevant a topic right now. So if we want to talk about it, let's just go ahead and talk about it.
Oh, okay.
Right? I mean,
how's it not that relevant?
Because it's mostly been repealed. There's eventually going to be a vote about it maybe not being repealed. But people aren't talking about it. People do talk about DACA. They talk about DACA all the time.
That's fucking stupid. Americans are so fucking stupid. Are we still recording?
Yeah, we're still recording.
Okay, good. Americans, you're fucking stupid.
Here. Most of us are stupid.
There should literally be 3% of the American population that should be allowed to vote. The other 97% are too fucking stupid. You're fucking stupid. If you watch the Grammy Awards, you're fucking stupid.
Oh,
if you spend time watching people promote themselves, you're fucking stupid. If you watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians, you're fucking stupid. The Bachelor, The Bachelorette, you're fucking stupid.
The State of the Union.
The State of the Union, you're probably a Democrat.
If you sit down the whole time, yes. I went to one of these let's all jerk each other off type things, kind of like
what?
Wait.
You did wait. What?
Yeah, let's back up a second. Hold on.
Okay. The Grammys.
Okay.
The Oscars.
Wait. Back up. Stop. Completely rebuild that sentence.
No, I don't have to back up.
It sounds like you went to a circle jerk.
The Grammy. Just shut the fuck up and listen.
You just said you went to a circle.
Yeah, no, I didn't say I went to a circle jerk.
You said you went to a circle jerk.
Folks, I didn't say I went to a circle jerk. Let's jerk each other off session. And that's
Go back
let
to
me
the
explain.
Tape. You said I went to one of these let's jerk each other off sessions.
Yes, which is the Grammys, the Oscars, the Emmys. All of these things are people jerking each other off and telling each other how awesome they are.
You went to the Grammys?
No, but I went to a similar thing. Like I went to a more localized version of that. Okay,
you went to a local circle jerk.
Yeah, and everybody was jerking each other off and telling each other how great their business was.
Can I just say this is why I don't hang out with you? This is why I don't hang out with you.
What?
Because I always had circle jerks?
Because I don't like blowing other people because they do a good job with their job. Go to fucking work and do your job. And if you do a good job, people will pay to come see you do your movies. If you don't do a good job, people won't fucking come. You don't need to have the fucking Grammys. You don't need to have the fucking Emmys. And you don't need to do any of this bloviating where you tell everybody how to think. It's bullshit and it's ridiculous. And that's all I was saying was about all these things that are just, you said that if you watch the so and such, you're a fucking idiot. And I'm agreeing with you.
I can't agree with you more, except for the fact that it sounded like you went to a circle jerk.
No, because all these things is just a fucking big circle jerk. Where I'm here and I want you to tell me how great I was in my movie, and I'll tell you how good you were in your movie.
Well, that's human nature, isn't it?
No, it's not my nature.
That you get together with your buddies and hey, you've got a big dick. I love you. Yeah, it's who cares?
Who are you guys hanging out with?
If you don't like what the fuck they're doing, ignore.
Listen, right, and I didn't watch the show.
Now you just said that you're comparing penises.
You said you went to the circle jerk.
No, I went. I had look, and that's the thing. That's the thing. And these actors, a lot of them kind of have to go. You know, like I'm lower. I'm lower down the totem pole, so I had to go to this circle jerk thing.
Okay, I can't take this conversation.
Anybody at least jerk you off?
We got polls and circle jerk.
People told me how great I was at my job and how great my job is. That's.
I mean, as long as you came,
it's figuratively the same thing. It's disgusting.
So is this conversation part of DACA or net neutrality?
It's moving toward net neutrality, I think.
I have no idea what we're talking about. There was a circle jerk and then like a large penis and bloviating, which I don't know what that word means, but it sounds exciting.
It doesn't mean what you think it means.
That's a porn search term, isn't it?
Bloviating.
Yeah, I bet you won't find anything on Pornhub for bloviating.
I bet you will,
folks. If you do, if you search bloviating on Pornhub and find something, let us know.
I'm on it.
We are at Two Dicks and Mike on Twitter and on Gab. Also, you can get us on the chat here on YouTube. But we were moving away from DACA, away from circle jerks, and toward. Mike, I really think is actually searching on Pornhub.
Yeah, and just for a note, don't do it. Don't. No,
you won't
find. Don't. It's all bloated belly. You don't know.
That doesn't sound like bloviating at all.
That's not bloviating at all. No.
All right. So,
but we were going to talk about net neutrality and Dick. Excuse me, I'm Dick. We got to get better names. Dick is going to tell us about net neutrality and why it's a wonderful or terrible thing.
I could be Black Dick.
Black Dick and White Dick.
Black Dick, White Dick, and then Mike. All right. So two dicks. Actually, we should probably say, let's rename the show. Let's call it 1.5 Dicks and a Mike.
Ooh. Oh, is that a white joke?
Yeah, it is a white joke.
No, that's a black joke.
Wait. What?
All right. Net neutrality.
Please tell us all about
it. Millennials. If you are on YouTube right now, driving in your car, because, while driving, you have to be on YouTube. The world is not coming to an end. You are not allowed to be able to power watch, Blacklist, Stranger Things, and stuff by Jerry Seinfeld on Netflix and not pay for it. That's not how the world works. I know that's how you think how the world works. That's not how the world works. So net neutrality, basically, to boil it down to a nutshell, states that the original intent of the internet was everything was free. It was a free flow of ideas. It was a free flow of information. It really wasn't unlike when radio became extremely popular in the early 1930s, 1940s, and as a medium of exchange of information. And you got advertisers in there, and I understand that that's fine. So the internet was originally intended to be a free exchange of ideas. And then somebody found out that you could make money. And then you have all these social media sites which don't pay anything.
You mean taxes?
Twitter, they don't pay taxes. They don't pay anything. All the users pay is the whatever their Sprint or Verizon, whatever their package is. That's what they pay. Whether they use 1 gigabyte of information or their 1 million, or their ISP or 1 million gigabytes of information. Well, here's the problem. If you are, and I had this conversation with my son when this issue came up, I said, listen, you want to power watch Netflix, and I can pull out a Sprint bill and I'll show anybody, this is how much I use on my ISP for Wi-Fi and the LTE service.
Yeah.
This is what my wife uses. This is what my mother-in-law uses. This is what my son uses. He uses twice as much as 3 adults in the house combined. But our fee for Sprint never goes up. Right?
Correct.
So who's losing money? Because he is watching and using Netflix's service or product, but he is getting that product through Sprint's unlimited plan.
Okay.
Well,
So
he's
there's-
also paying Netflix.
Well, yeah, exactly. He's also paying Netflix.
No. I'm paying Netflix.
Okay, well,
Somebody's
you're paying
paying
Netflix, but Netflix
I understand that. I understand.
Who has
Netflix-
also
Whether-
gone up on their rates twice recently.
and
So
they,
Right.
and they are also paying Sprint as well.
correct.
Correct. So what Sprint is saying, hey, Netflix, Joe Smith used 1 million gigabytes of information in the month of January,
Holy shit!
power watching Blacklist and Stranger Things. We want you to pay more money. And Netflix says, go fuck yourself. And right now, Sprint doesn't have any recourse. And I don't think that that's fair. Sprint should be able to say, okay, well, you're basically using your surfboard, but you're on our wave. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to slow down the wave. You're still allowed to use your surfboard. It's
The
absolutely
wave?
fine.
What fucking terms are you using
He's
here?
using surfing terms. No, I follow him completely. Go ahead, Dick.
So you're using our wave to ride your surfboard into shore. And everybody's hooting and hollering about how you're doing this and you're doing that, but it's on our wave. So what we're going to do, because you refuse to give us money, an additional amount of money for using our wave, is we're going to slow down the wave. So now you don't get to do the same things that you do. And if you do it on these things exclusively, the quality is going to be compromised until you give us money. That's
Right.
capitalism.
See, yeah, no, it totally is capitalism. So you're taking the argument from the side of the ISP, where Netflix or YouTube, but Netflix in this instance,
Or Pandora or Spotify or anybody.
right? But these high bit rate services that use a lot of data, these high data use services are all going through the ISP. And they're bogging down the ISP network because the end user wants to use these services. So the ISP can say, okay, Netflix, or okay, Pandora, I'm going to slow down your channel unless you pay more because you're bogging down my network.
Correct.
But they're already doing that. They already charge them an extra fee.
But Netflix,
They're just not throttling them
But Sprint doesn't get anything from that. They charge a base fee.
to you.
No. They charge a base fee to Netflix. So Sprint charges me. Sprint charges me a rate. I'll make up a number. Let's say all of our phones, all of everything. I'll just make up a number. It's $200. Okay, so they charge me $200, and in that $200, I am guaranteed, quote unquote, unlimited internet access.
Right.
Correct.
Okay. So whether I use the equivalent of 18 families worth of internet, I'm still paying $200.
But if you read the fine details, at a certain point, they will throttle you.
I have read the fine details, and they have not. I have unlimited data.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they'll
You
give,
have unlimited data at a guaranteed speed, not guaranteed speed, I'm sorry, at an advertised speed. Once you read a certain number of gigs per month, they will throttle your speed. I promise. There's not an ISP that doesn't do this.
You sound like somebody that's had that happen to you.
No. I pay for 200 meg internet, for which I am guaranteed 500 gigs per month at my 200 megs, after which they will throttle me. Have I ever come close to that 500 gig? Not a chance.
Yeah,
All right, so
I would have to stream Netflix on 3 TVs all month long.
So for our listeners who might be confused, how much porn can be watched with that particular rate?
You could watch porn on 4 separate PCs 24/7 all month long and not hit that limit.
right, but that's the thing though. You have to pay an exorbitant amount of
1080.
money to get that.
That cost me $60 a month.
And another thing though is the way the ISP set that up is they link the amount of data that you're allowed to have with the speed of data that's allowed to come to your house. So like I have a couple of kids too, and so we stream a lot of content. We stream a lot of cartoons, a lot of what have you. And so we were on a particular plan with like 50 megs of download speed. which is plenty fast to stream content. But at that 50 megs, you're only allowed X number of gigs of data to come to your house before they throttle you. So even though the speed was plenty fine, the amount of data that could come to our house before they slowed us way, way down was not fine. Yeah, so we had to go up to a bigger plan, similar to what Mike has, where we're paying for 100, 150 gigs or something like that download speed or megs download speed, which gives us tons of gigs of data at that rate. So like if I do torrents or if I stream a lot of content or if I stream a lot of music, and music doesn't take nearly as much space as
it's video that's the hog. Yep.
It's video, yeah. So like you're watching HD stuff on YouTube or you're watching a lot of Netflix or Hulu or whatever, you're eating a lot of data. So
okay.
So
Go ahead, sorry.
So I am kind of in favor of being able to have these different packages where, like, I don't have kids. Say person A doesn't have kids. They have no interest in watching anything on Netflix or YouTube or whatever. They just want to check their email. So they want to pay $10 a month for 4 gigs worth of data. It's like cell phones used to be, you know, where you had a couple of gigs of data that you could pay for, or you could buy the bigger plan. But I don't think that that's as available now. Is that correct? Like when I first got my first iPhone, I had to have like a nearly unlimited data plan so that I could get all the stuff that the iPhone was supposed to give me. Is that right? Do I remember correctly? I'm talking like 11 years ago.
Yes.
But it's changed a lot in that time.
It has changed a lot.
The other problem is that, you know, these ISPs, because the other flow of data is not just streaming Hulu, streaming Netflix, which a lot of it is, but a lot of it is a lot of your social media sites where you can actually stream video content that is not Netflix or Hulu. It's you videoing yourself taking a dump at the salad bar at Wendy's. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
On Snapchat or something like that.
Or on.
Yes.
Both.
Because I watched the latter.
Yeah, that's so you're doing that and you're Snapchatting and Instagram and all that, which also takes up data. And a lot more of your younger generation, your millennials and younger, are exchanging information that way, which also takes up quite a bit of data. I mean, take a 30-second video file of yourself, just film a clock for 30 seconds, and then try and send it by normal email and see how much video or how much information, or data that takes up. So now you've got these ISPs going, now wait a minute, whoa. So we've got these people, older generation, whatever, watching Netflix, watching Hulu, which is fine. But then you've got this younger generation is doing all this video sending on Snapchat or whatever, and they say it's only supposed to last 10 to 15 seconds, but that's still an extraordinary amount of data that's being transferred, and all of social media is free.
You mean free to use?
It's free to use.
Yeah.
It's free to use. You don't have to pay an additional fee for that. Which, by the way, that should be coming down the pipe.
Okay, so you're talking about ISPs charging Facebook. Is that where you're going with this?
Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter.
Well, that's yes. But I'm just using Facebook because it's the biggest one.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. All right, yeah, because we pay a subscription for Hulu or Netflix, etc., but we don't pay a subscription for YouTube. I mean, for Facebook. You can actually pay a subscription for YouTube now, though, for YouTube without commercials, etc. But a lot of this, but that's the same. That's to say that like Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all these are all subsidized by ad dollars.
Yes.
I work for a company, and some of our posts we can get out to a large number of people organically. but a lot of content is throttled because they want you to pay. And that's something that's really happening a lot on YouTube these days, where YouTube is demonetizing a lot of channels, and this is I don't know, because we're not trying to monetize our content here at all. But there are channels that are conservative leaning who are having a hard time because YouTube is demonetizing their channels because they just don't agree with the content.
All my gun shows are going away off of YouTube.
Right, because YouTube doesn't agree with, because YouTube is demonetizing those channels because
YouTube doesn't like it.
Right.
And that's where I get into what I don't like about the whole anti-net neutrality thing. Okay, for instance, Sprint says, I'm going to throttle Netflix for everybody. I'm going to gut it down to where it barely works. So your son can't watch Netflix. He's frustrated. Everybody that tries to watch it is frustrated. But then Sprint's going to come out with Movie Flicks, and it's going to stream quality 1080p video all the time for all of its users. Which one are you going to pay for? The one that fucking works.
Well, that's capitalism.
That is. I mean, it is.
Something like that happened before net neutrality came around, though. One of the ISPs, or one of the Sprint or Verizon, one of those guys tried to have their own service, and that's kind of where the net neutrality thing started to fall apart. Right? Am I remembering correctly?
I think that was Verizon.
Whichever one, but they tried to have their own.
This happened in the 30s with the phone company.
Yeah, well. And the internet is now considered a category 2 or class 2 or whatever. It's a service along the same lines as the phone company or the power company or whatever.
Correct. It's a utility. It's datacom.
Yeah. Whereas it wasn't that before.
Which is fine. But what we might be missing here is, say, for example, YouTube. YouTube takes in advertising dollars. Right?
Yeah.
That's basically how they function. Well, the problem is not that your conservative shows are leaving YouTube. That's not the problem. The problem is that the advertisers are now dictating the content that YouTube displays. Why? Because YouTube used to be free. Then they figured out there's a lot more people on it. We need money to keep this running. They opened it up to advertising. And now advertisers who are trying to appeal to a broader based clientele are saying, how can we have an advertiser, say, for example, Greenpeace or the ASPCA, but how can those organizations coexist on YouTube with gun shows and with hunting shows?
You don't advertise on the other fucking channels. That's all you got to do.
Yeah,
you let the NRA advertise on the gun channels, and you let Greenpeace advertise on the
down to the bottom line.
But that's the problem. The internet is supposed to be for everybody, and if you are willing to pay, to get an extra, or to get a louder voice, or to get extra seconds, or to get your name in 18-point font, whereas the other people are in 12-point font, then that's capitalism. That's how it works. So we can't, on one hand, say, well, wait a minute, this is supposed to be free, and we're going to allow advertisers. And on the other hand, say, well, how come I'm not getting the content in the format that I wish? You can't have it both ways.
So Greenpeace and the SPCA have more ad dollars that they can spend? Is that what we're saying?
If they're paying more ad dollars, then absolutely. It's capitalism. I'm all for capitalism. Hate the player, not the game. The internet was supposed to be free. It was supposed to be a free exchange of ideas. It's supposed to be a free exchange of information.
Right, but it
was factual. It was factual content, news-oriented information.
Yeah,
and what happened is if you want to find out about, no, I agree. If you want to find out about the latest in tactical weaponry, you want to find out the latest in or the best deals on air flights, you want to find the best deals on suitcases and luggages and clothing, you're going to have to pay for it. Because we're not going to give you premium information and not have you pay for it.
Yeah. And I think most people are fine with paying for that, though. But is that where the cries come from, though? Is because it's supposed to be free, under the original guise of what it was supposed to be, but now that it's morphed into this other thing and it's a capitalist society,
and now people are pissed because it used to be free, and they're thinking of it as. I gave my son this analogy. The federal highway system, I-94, I-90, I-65, I-10, I-5, all those highway systems are paid for by tax dollars, right? Everybody in the United States pays for those to be built and to be maintained, right?
Right.
Here's the problem. Everybody uses them. So now everybody is using these highways, using this interstate system, and there's potholes and there's bridges that need to be updated. And does everybody pay for it? No.
Yes.
No. The guy
Taxes.
The guy that is living in Indiana does not directly pay to the necessity that somebody living in Southern California on the I-5 would have to pay to maintain that road.
Does he use that road?
If he uses that road once every 10 years, then the answer is yes. But it still would not justify his having to pay as much money. What the ending of the net neutrality is saying, and I explained this to my son, is imagine that highway system where who's making money on that? Trucking companies, right? They're shipping products back and forth here and there, making money on a system that they pay very little to use. And I told my son, I said, now imagine that highway system. Imagine I-94 from Detroit to Chicago, jam-packed with trucks, with semi-trailers, in a traffic jam. I said, if everybody's using the road, and now you have a traffic jam established, would there not be some trucking companies willing to pay more money to get onto the shoulder and drive past everybody?
Absolutely, yeah. But back to your who's paying for what, I thought fuel taxes were supposed to go toward roads and that sort of thing too.
They are. They're not universally standardized by state.
But if I pay X amount of fuel tax in Alabama and somebody else pays X amount of fuel tax in Oregon, is that money not supposed to go toward maintaining the roads in Alabama and Oregon?
It is, but I can fill up my gas tank in Michigan, and I can drive straight and hit Nashville, Tennessee without filling up again. I've used Kentucky's roads, I've used Indiana's roads, I've used Michigan's highway, and not paid
without paying taxes in those states.
Correct.
Gotcha. But okay, to that same end, though. Yeah, well, yeah, of course. To that same end, though, trucking companies, if you are running a route, then eventually you're going to pay taxes in every state that your route is on.
At some point, yes. But not consistently to the amount of time that you use it.
Well, yeah, no, you're going to buy more fuel in your home state and your destination state, for sure.
Correct.
Yeah, you can drive from Michigan to Kentucky without filling up. But living locally, how often do you fill up in Michigan or Indiana?
Oh, I fill up quite a bit. Absolutely.
You still pay your fair share of taxes.
Oh,
just
absolutely.
for using the pipeline, you pay your ISP.
Right.
You're already paying for the infrastructure.
Right. But what I'm saying is that, yes, you're paying for your infrastructure, absolutely the ISP. What I'm saying is that as the system is set up now, I am not, quote unquote, paying for Netflix. So Netflix charges me a fee. I'll make up a number, $25. They charge me $25 a month.
You need to get your fucking money back
from
from
Netflix. You need to
Netflix,
renegotiate. Yeah,
I'm just making up a number. They charge me
Netflix is
20.
the best value in media entertainment.
It is such a value. It is.
I understand that, but they're paying me destination money. I'm directly using their service, right?
Correct. You're paying for the hotel stay.
Correct. But the streaming of that, the getting to that destination, and
you pay your ISP for,
and the streaming of that content, but what I pay the ISP does not match what I am paying Netflix. That's what the companies are arguing.
And you're probably right. Video streaming itself uses way more data than anything else you're doing on the net. If you're streaming porn or you're streaming Netflix, you're using 20 times the data you are to send a fucking email. You know what I mean?
And that's why AT&T, Comcast, and Verizon are saying, now, wait a minute. We are the ones that are basically the highways. We are the ones that are utilizing or having our road system to transport this content back and forth being utilized. And we're sorry, but $5 a month for this service is not cutting it anymore for the amount of traffic that Netflix
who's getting
is generating.
$5 a month?
I'm using a number.
I bet Netflix pays every ISP a shitload of money. I'd like to see those numbers if anybody out there has them.
Look at what Disney did.
What?
Disney
bought a major network?
Disney wanted to listen to what Disney's doing. Disney wants to renegotiate their contract with Netflix, right?
Okay.
Netflix tells Disney, go fuck yourself. Right?
Okay.
Disney buys the Star Wars franchise and then pulls all of the Disney content off of Netflix.
That's not true.
By the way,
that's not true. Because I can go watch Rogue One right now on Netflix.
I understand that. I'm saying the large portion of what Disney was offering had been pulled off of Netflix.
That's possible. Okay, I got you.
Now Netflix is like, now wait a minute. There's a huge amount of content that our clients, our customer base, can be able to watch if Disney is a part of it. And if we don't do this, then Disney's going to pull the plug and we won't have anything. We'll have some weird ass Chinese guys with swords run around and like, I don't know, the Green Dragon 45 or whatever the hell it is.
Bruce Lee with lightsabers.
Yeah, Bruce Lee with lightsabers. Which, by the way,
we watched that video last week.
Oh, you gotta watch it. It's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. So my point is this: is that in the world of the big boys, in the world of big corporations, where they're bickering for money back and forth, I don't fault them for that. I mean, this is America. You should be allowed to make money. I have a hard time believing that. I mean, look at radio. I don't understand why internet is not like radio. Radio is free. Yes, you have to listen to commercials. There is now XM radio and Sirius radio where you pay a monthly fee, basically not to listen to radios and to listen to people swear. That's really all you're listening to Sirius radio and XM radio for.
Fucking right.
Is not to listen to commercials, not to listen to people swear. So you're paying for removal of content, right?
Well, yeah, people pay subscriptions all the time, so they don't have to watch commercials, though.
You're paying for unedited content.
Yeah, that's a better way to put it. Yeah, I agree. Unedited content. I don't know why the internet is not the same way.
It is. I can go find unedited shit on the internet.
Oh, I sent you a couple of videos that were unedited.
Yeah. And I pay my ISP for that, and there you go.
Well, how come you don't pay me for that? I'm the one that sent it.
Because you didn't post it. You don't host that information. You sent me a link.
All right. Okay.
When you start posting your own porno, that's when I will stop using the internet.
That is not what I have heard, sir. All right, Dick, where are you on net neutrality? Yay or nay?
I don't care. I use a corded phone.
Oh my God.
Oh, Jesus.
Is it a rotary?
No, I don't have one of those anymore. Actually, I don't think those work anymore.
Yeah, they don't.
Do they not?
No, you used to be able to pay for non-dial tone service
Yeah.
and be able to use a rotary phone. Yeah, I don't believe you can do that anymore.
You know, you can buy I don't know, a couple of years ago, you could buy an app for your iPhone that made your dial screen a rotary.
Why anybody would actually want that, I don't know.
All right, so here's here's where I stand. Internet should be free.
Wait, what?
Internet should be free. If you want the exchange of a great amount of data and content, you have to pay for it.
Okay, so as long as I have cable television or a telephone service, I should be able to get some sort of internet with that.
Network. If all I want to do is send emails, it should be free.
If all you want to do is send emails and a respective amount of data, I think that should be free. If you want to start power watching Netflix and you want to watch Hulu and what?
You mean free with your telephone or free with your cable?
Yes, whatever. Yeah,
that's not free.
I mean, it should be a part of a basic package. I don't know what the data level would be. I don't know. 3, 4, 5, whatever. I don't know. But
I'm kind of on board with you though. I think that like if all I do is send emails, I should pay a shitload less than somebody else.
Absolutely. Yes. And you can buy cheap low meg service.
Yes.
For $10, $20 a month.
Yes and no. Yes and no.
Let's put it this way. You, me, and Mike go out to dinner. You two order the filet, and I order canned bean soup.
And then we just split 3 ways.
And we split it 3 ways. Who got fucked?
But that's not the way it works now.
It is the way it works.
No, it's not. I pay for 200 meg service.
ISPs raise their fees.
Pays. No, if net neutrality does not go through, then yes, that'll be the way it works. But as it is now, I can pay for high tier service. Dick can pay for high tier service. And if you want the fucking bean soup and you want to pay for low tier service, you can pay less than we do. That's how it works now.
First of all, bean soup is not low tier. Bean soup is fantastic.
Depends on where you get it, but yeah.
It depends on where you get it.
This is true. Okay, I agree. All right.
You can pay less for a lower tier service currently.
Before net neutrality came about, before this program started, I still had to pay more for more data. They were still the same. It was still almost exactly the same as it is now. All right, so it looks like we lost Dick, but before net neutrality came about, I still had to pay more for different types of service. Nothing really has changed as far as I'm concerned, as far as how the internet is delivered to me and my consumption of it before net neutrality and now.
Correct.
So, do we really need the government there or not?
It's always been my opinion that we don't need the government in most of our privatized shit, but they always try to step in.
They do.
Although I could be wrong with that. If the government didn't step in back in the 30s, Ma Bell would be running absolutely everything, and we would be having an entirely different conversation.
But the government fucks up pretty much everything.
You're probably right about that.
All right, fuck it. We're done talking. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed our banter. We would love to chat with you. If you have anything to add, be sure to check us out on Twitter or Gab at 2DicksandMike. Or leave us a comment below right here on the YouTubes. You can also send us an email at 2DicksandMike, 2DicksandAMike, the name of the show actually, at gmail.com. Be sure to like and share, subscribe. See you next time. Thanks. Go fuck yourself.